try to wait 10 or 15 minutes. Before I start, I just wanted to, we'll begin the meeting. This is the Hoc River Committee, special meeting Monday, September 24th. And we are anticipating Councilor Labange to join us. I just want to share with you that those opening comments about a week or two ago, we had senior advisor to President Obama in Los Angeles, Valerie Jarrett, and the week before that, we had discussions with, or at least 2 weeks before that, with the Army Corps. And this is an announcement. I know it's not an agenda, so I know it's a Brown Act issue. It's more like background information. And what was cool about that is that we're in a place where if the Secretary of the Civil Branch of the Army Corps, RC, is that right? Jonah Darcy, can put forth a letter to expedite the study, so it gets done at least before 2013 or the end of my term, and Colonel Toy's, as a matter of fact. Then essentially it creates the green light to have the ability to look at real projects that starts breaking the cement in the river in very strategic places. It triggers a $1.6 billion budget that is very real for the transformation of the river that the river master plan is focused on. So that's good news. And I did appeal to her, and I asked her if we could imagine the president one day coming to the riverbank and actually talk about how, because of these scenarios, we can create 19,000 jobs. We could continue to build up the First Lady Michelle Obama's scenarios of recreation and engagement with open space to address the issues of obesity and diabetes of our children in these corridors. And so I went through that laundry list, and she was very responsive, and I'll soon find out if that letter was delivered. So we need to follow up on that. But that's good news, and it bodes well for all the hard work the departments are putting together. I know these are very stressful times, given the dire nature of our general fund and the budgetary issues that have impacted our departments. So I might not have a full committee of 3 or 4 council members here, but I can tell you that this work means a lot to our city, and that your efforts will have and will show some fruition, I think, in the very near future. So I thank you for your commitment and your stamina, and one, coming to the committee meeting, and 2, getting the work done. So that, truly appreciate that. So I just want to take a moment to say that. So that being said, we'll move to item number 1, and you can share that to the record.
Good afternoon. Item number 1, verbal presentation by the Los Angeles River Corps relative to the status of their operations.
Please come on up. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Councilman. How you doing?
Doing good, and had a great experience with the Charles White Elementary School. I think we had 20 youngsters there. I know, don't go there.
I won't.
But the fact is, it was awesome to see the kids respond, and I thank you for being here, Bob.
That's good. Good afternoon again, and I'm just here to give a quick description of our last quarterly report of the LA Conservation Corps, LA River Corps program for the months of June, July, and August. The River Corps members continue to do their efforts to do river restoration, and they're out there Tuesday through Saturday working hard. And just want to point out a few of the numbers that are listed in this one sheet information that you have in front of you. For this last quarterly, if you notice that number of pounds of trash that was collected was 34,570 pounds. Square feet maintained was 47,928. Graffiti removed was 27,145 feet. Bulky items, there were 34 bulky items removed from the river. Youth presentations, we only did 2. Number of youth presented to was 75. And events attended or assisted with was 1. Public relations contacts made, which is along the river stretch, was 80. And, again, they're out there working hard and continuing to try and make the river a better place for people to enjoy. And it's heavily, as most of you know, it's heavily used by the local residents and residents that come from all sorts of the city of LA, especially on the weekends. It's very, very busy.
It's found it continues to develop its new role, it sounds like.
Yes.
The Los Angeles River High School, right there by in Cypress Park, off of Division and San Fernando. Is there an engagement with the student body there? I mean, there's a whole high school dedicated. I think it's called the River High School, LA River High School. Am I mistaken?
No, we still have not had any involvement with the school yet.
Okay.
We do plan to go out there and do some outreach at the school to see how we can get maybe some students come out and be part of the either service project or work along with Miguel Luna with Urban Semillas and do some water quality.
Right. Well, my understanding is they have a state-of-the-art laboratory, and that they just figured out that what they had in their hands. I mean, you actually have scientists coming in on a regional level to use their apparatus.
I myself have not been to the school yet, Councilman, but I'll definitely have Aspen Ignacio.
Because it will definitely bring up your number of youths presented to and youth presentations. That number will multiply, and again, that multiplier effect I keep looking for. This is a catalyst to create that kind of relationship.
Yes.
So you can literally engage hundreds and hundreds of young people. And I believe there's like 3 or 4 high schools on that one campus.
One area, yes.
And one high school is the LA River High School. And they're into science and biology and future engineers, all that good stuff. If you like, we can facilitate a meeting and our office with you and the high school. But I think it would be a great way to create that leveraging point.
Absolutely, Councilman, and I'll definitely take you on your offer as far as setting up a meeting with the schools.
Okay, great. So congratulations, good. I mean, this is a lot of work. I mean, this is 34,000 pounds of trash that did not make it to the ocean.
Correct.
Okay, good.
And just in closing, as most everybody knows in this room, our Pedal de la River is coming to an end this week. This Saturday will be our last trips, and we've had over 1,000 paid participants come this summer. Over 100 youth participated in the river, Pedal the River, and I think a lot of folks in this room have paddled or come and join us.
Yeah. Okay. Who hasn't paddled the river here? Okay. Has not. Oh wow. Okay. All right, great.
So we're very excited. And thank you very much for all your support. And we've done it without you.
No, it's I think we have a good problem, because every time I run across someone that says, I'm really frustrated. Why? Because I try to get on the river paddle program and I couldn't make it. They put me on a waiting list and I had no access, so they were very frustrated. So there's a true demand. The question is, how do we structure it so that we can meet the demand, generate revenue, and still maintain access to the people that probably could not afford a $75 seat or a $50 seat, whatever it is. So those are the kinds of challenges we have. And those are good problems.
Those are things I'm going to look at for the near future.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for this report.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So we can note and file this item?
There's no action.
There's no action? Okay. No action necessary. All right. Second item?
Number 2, verbal presentation by the Urban Waters Federal Partnership.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Councilman Reyes. I'm John Kemmer with the EPA.
Yes.
And here today with Pauline Louie.
Hi, Pauline.
Just,
Well, it's good to see you again, because the last time I think we were in a bus
Yeah.
going through a tour and during the hot sun, but that was great.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to City Hall.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's good to be here. So, yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update about the Urban Waters Federal Partnership. I think, as you I believe know, last summer, this program was announced, and there are 7 pilot projects across the country that were designated as part of this Urban Waters Federal Partnership, with the idea of bringing federal agencies together with local and state partners to try to leverage our resources and further efforts to revitalize urban water. So the LA River is one of these 7, and the Environmental Protection Agency is the lead for this pilot. So I've been leading the effort so far. One of the big priorities we had last year was to really convene the group and get the partner organizations together. There's over 30 organizations participating in the group, and at all levels of government and a lot of NGOs. And at the end of last year, we came out with a work plan that lays out some of the priorities of the group. We pulled together all of the organizations to try to come up with, okay, what are the biggest priorities. Probably not at all surprising to you, the biggest priority of the group is completion of the ecosystem restoration feasibility study. Well, we identified a lot of also ongoing projects, some of which now have already been completed. And what you see in front of you there is a fact sheet that we put out on the 1-year anniversary of the partnership, of describing some of the work going on in the LA River watershed. So for me, the biggest priority this year has been, we have this initiative under this partnership called the Urban Waters Ambassador Program, and the idea is with EPA as the lead for this partnership, our agency is paying for a 1-year detail for someone from a federal agency to on a detail to one of the local organizations at the pilot locations to basically full-time work on this partnership. It's been frankly a challenge for me, working maybe 20-25% of my time. Now we have somebody, and I want to introduce here, Pauline Louie was selected. Pauline is an employee with the local HUD office here in LA, and she started just last month as now the LA River Urban Waters Ambassador, working full-time with the partnership, and is setting up our first meeting with the group that she's organized next week. So I want to just turn it over to Pauline to say a few words here.
Welcome, Pauline.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very happy to be on board, and it's been a little bit, but we're trying to make up for lost time here. I had been involved with the partnership for probably like 9 months before I was selected as the ambassador, working on behalf of HUD in the local partnership here, as well as working on the Northeast Los Angeles, the HUD Sustainability Grant, which I'm very happy to say that I think is back on track with the city.
Yes.
So I think that one of our kind of first tasks is just to kind of, as John had mentioned, just to kind of get our projects online, tracking them, and looking for opportunities to really leverage one project for another, so that we really get a big bang for our buck and start moving all of these projects forward together. I think that we've already seen times where the federal funding opportunities have come together, as well as some private funds coming for these projects, and we see a lot of local involvement and engagement and coordination actually with the group, so it's very encouraging.
One of the questions I posed to Ms. Jared was this notion of the silos that exist between different federal departments, and how there are different missions in department to department. And I've been very encouraged about the fact that we have this kind of focus, but how can the federal government improve upon that? And she understood that we have some ways to go, but the fact that you have these initiatives that are actually now tying in all these different departments was a good step, was a great step. I thank you for that HUD grant, because now you have a focal point in how we deal with many of the different levels of issues that come with how you improve an urban setting that we find around the river, like in Los Angeles. But my question to you is now that, because I know you're picking up the baton, so to speak, right, and helping out and moving this forward. What do you see in front of you that will demonstrate that level of cooperation, coordination between the different federal departments? Like, is there a product we should look forward to, or how could you best describe, without trying to pin you in a corner or anything like that, but what do you see in the horizon?
Well, I think that the true test of successful leveraging of different sources is the level, the depth of the interaction on the staff level to make these things happen. So I think there's going to be activities that we're going to be doing that are very much in the public view, and there's going to be a lot that's going to be behind the scenes. And I think I'm a true believer in the behind the scenes is almost as important, making sure that we have access to each of these agencies. And so I think that's what John and I had talked about before I came on board, is making sure that we have access, say, to conversations in Department of Transportation, within HUD, within EPA, Forest Service, Bureau of Reclamation, all of these organizations, that the staff are talking to each other and moving these projects forward in a timely manner.
Okay. Well, I'd love to meet with both of you and kind of look at what you see and how do we support you, working with our Congress members along the corridor and facilitating your work, and hopefully have some work program or some program objective that we could sink our teeth into and move forward. But I understand you still need to kind of set the table for that.
Yeah, I think there's going to be much more to come
Right.
as we identify and organize what we have, and I think there will be things that are definitely going to automatically kind of float to the top.
Great. Well, again, thank you so much, and look forward to some of that tangibility.
Right. Just to highlight, there are a couple projects mentioned in here, leveraging under this fact sheet on leveraging resources and tools of projects that are kind of already moving forward. I mean, one that I'd like to highlight maybe is just the South LA Wetlands Park, where it's really all credit really goes to the city for moving that project forward. But it was a good example of how where some EPA funds were used to kind of move that along to the finish line. There was a brownfields grant provided, and there was some Clean Water Act funding. So yeah, I totally agree with you that there's a lot of these silos exist. But I've been encouraged just in the year working in this organization that being able to see kind of some of the common ground with agencies like the Bureau of Reclamation,
Right.
who I really didn't work with at all really before, and Corps of Engineers and some others that where I think we are seeing opportunities to kind of cross those silos a little bit and not
Right.
have them separate us.
No, but I compliment you, and I'm thankful for the work you've done.
Thank you for your leadership, Councilman.
They exist, but we'll create those bridges. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That also was a report that did not require an action. So next item.
Planning Department Bureau of Engineering reports relative to river projects.
Good afternoon, Councilman.
Good afternoon.
How are you? I'm
Great.
Claire Bowen, City Planning Department, and I have just a couple of things to update you subsequent to our report. We did get some information back from the City Attorney's Office this morning in regards to the status of the RIO, the River Improvement Overlay District, that is with them. They have had just a flurry of activities that they've been having to deal with, and so the RIO has not been yet a priority. They're going to be working with our department to see how we can prioritize that amongst all their other activities. And so hopefully we'll have something more concrete to report to you at the next meeting in terms of when they hope that they can actually get to that. But they know that it is a priority, certainly for you as well as our department. So,
Right.
so that's not anything very specific, but just wanted to kind of give you an update on that. Just also wanted to clarify that we are intending right now to go to the City Planning Commission on October 11th with the Cornfield Arroyo Seco specific plan. We did have a healthy turnout at our August 30th public hearing. We had about 40 speakers, provided us comments on some of the topics that we've been hearing a lot about, primarily affordable housing is obviously continuing to be a concern, and in the issues of parking. The Warner Center specific plan, which is the other specific plan that's also been moving forward along the river during the last couple of years, also had its recent public hearing, so we're kind of in lockstep. They'll be going to Planning Commission in November, and they had a nice turnout, and there seems to be general support for that plan. I actually met with an applicant this morning they're not yet an applicant, but they're hoping to be an applicant for a parcel that is immediately abutting the river that will now be in, once the Warner Center specific plan is adopted, it will be in that specific plan area. So he was in meeting with me to learn more about how the Rio would interface with the Warner Center specific plan, but I thought that was exciting news too.
So the Warner Center is synonymous to the Universal City plan, or is that different?
No, so the Warner Center specific plan is an existing specific plan that started to undergo an update actually back in 2007 when we also initiated the Cornfield Arroyo Seco specific plan. And it's also in the area that was identified in the master plan as one of the key opportunity areas, right there at the confluence. Right. But the Warner Center specific plan currently does not have its boundaries go all the way up to the south banks of the LA River. And so working with that team over the last number of years, the community decided to actually expand those boundaries. So once that plan is adopted, hopefully again in the next number of months, those boundaries will continue all the way up to the LA River.
So there'll be connectivity.
Absolutely, and that's been a key focus. I think the property owners who were very involved in the development of this plan, I think they recognized really early on the benefits and the importance of including the specific plan all the way up to the LA River and making that connection and facilitating people being able to then get down to the other uses and activities that are in the specific plan.
So as an example of the incremental connection of this necklace, if you will.
Absolutely. I think that the Warner Center there at the confluence, and then along with the Cornfield Arroyo Seco specific plan, along with then once we get the Rio adopted, we're starting to really make some good kind of planning, have a lot of planning tools, and along the river. We are also going to be starting to update the Boyle Heights community plan, which we thought was originally going to be one of our activities when the master plan, was adopted, and it got put on hold because of budget constraints. But we are hoping to now reinitiate that community plan update effort starting next month. And given the Boyle Heights community plan borders, its western boundary is the east bank of the LA River between, I think, like Mission and all the way down to the city's boundary. So it's a key stretch, and again, one of the areas that was identified as one of the key opportunity areas.
I know there's a lot on your plate already, but perhaps in the future when it's timely, if there's some way to map out where that influence of the master plan is making its presence in the corridor, so that way we can see how this necklace, if you will, is forming, and we can see how much we need to go. It might trigger certain my colleagues to look at strategies that continue this necklace and this connectivity. I want to respect all the different regions along the corridor, because I know some folks just don't want anything. I respect that. It's their neighborhood. But if there's an opportunity to understand the benefit, then that's a whole other discussion. But if we can visually see it, I think it's impactful.
Absolutely, and I think one of the other kind of key pieces along in that necklace is the Northeast LA plan that was just mentioned, and we will, now that it is moving forward, we'll be including that in our future staff report. So that's, again, another piece, and we could also include that on the map.
Am I overstating that maybe 20% of the corridor is now, in one way or another, influenced by a river-oriented policy?
Well, actually, once the Rio is adopted, I would say 100% of the river has some kind of planning standards, guiding future developments. Okay. But then we could focus it, maybe, the 25% is probably where it starts to look a little bit further out from the boundaries and then be more detailed in the kind of requirements we would have.
And the reason why I'm saying this is that if investors are out there listening, if property owners are listening, they can start asking questions. Okay, how do I get involved in this transformation? And what does it mean for my interest as a property owner?
What's really nice is that even though we haven't had the Rio adopted yet, we did put that zoning information in place way back in 2007, and it's actually been very, very helpful because we continue to have property owners contact us at the point they either know about it up front when they're initiating a project, or they learn about it when they are submitting their plans for plan check from Building and Safety. But they do contact me, and required to listen to me, tell them an update on the plan, and most of them are very receptive to the kinds of things that are going on, and oftentimes are really looking for guidance on the kind of things they might then voluntarily include in their project.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Great.
Good afternoon, Councilman. I'm Carol Armstrong with the City's Bureau of Engineering LA River Project Office, and I'm here with my river brother, Michael Affelt, also with the LA River Project Office. We're just going to give you a couple of highlights of our regular update report. I wanted to mention that the city hosted a River Cooperation Committee meeting, and that involves the regular participation of the Department of Public Works, Bureaus of Engineering and Sanitation, along with the Department of Water and Power and the Department of Recreation and Parks, together with the LA County Flood Control District. And at that meeting, they approved the second privately financed project, and that is the Water Wheel project, the La Noria Water Wheel, which is being done by Metabolic Studios in partnership with Geosyntec Consultants. And the City of LA is also taking on the CEQA process for that project. It's moving quite quickly, and we're excited about it. I also wanted to mention that the staff focus group to that committee at their meeting last week reviewed a revised draft of the LA River Master Use Agreement, and now that's going to go back to the departments for input. It was circulated already for some input, and we need to get it now, the revised version, back to the departments and then on to the city attorney so we can move that forward for approval. I wanted to talk a little bit about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
But we have to make sure it's a priority for the city attorney too, though, right?
Yes, absolutely, along with the LA Rio.
Okay, so we should kind of do a package deal there. Hopefully we'll get that focus.
That's a good idea.
All right.
So I also wanted to talk about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and this study. We're very excited that things are moving along, and the Corps has reached out to their leadership to schedule what's called an in-progress review at the end of next month, and that's a very big deal because they're going to be having experts come from the division and the headquarters level to check the progress that they're making and make sure everybody's on the same page, and this will help us grease the wheels for the approvals that it will need to go through next year. I also wanted to commend the Urban Waters Federal Partnership, John and Pauline have been wonderful in helping us arrange meetings, particularly with the High-Speed Rail Authority and with the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Railroad Administration regarding that project, because we're super excited about seeing high-speed rail, and there's all kinds of opportunities to make it riverly in its design.
Right. Beautiful. And we've just been joined by Councilman Tom LaBonge. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Councilman. And then another opportunity is we've been looking at potentially doing a project in the Sepulveda Basin for some gardens, and we've been speaking with the USDA about that, thanks to John Kemmerer. Now I'm going to hand it over to Michael.
Thank you, John and Pauline. Please.
Mike Affelt, also with Bureau of Engineering, LA River Project Office. Our office is coordinating city involvement with the North Atwater Bridge Crossing Project. The latest news on that is the CEQA document. The first draft was submitted, and we've been going over comments, and a revised draft has been submitted. So that will be finalized and circulated for public review in the coming weeks.
Is this one that was formerly in Councilman LaBonge and now in Councilman Garcetti's?
It's still both, I believe. It's
both?
Yeah.
All right.
One side is Council District 4, and the other side is Council District 13.
Right. One leg on each side. All right, good.
Another bridge project that's happening is the Taylor Yard Bike Bridge, which is on the south side of the G2 parcel near the MetroLink area.
Right.
And Bureau of Engineering is leading that project. It's funded in partnership with Metro, DWP, and DOT. And they are finalizing a design task order solicitation to hire a consultant firm to do the design of that bridge.
Well, I have a silly smile on my face because that bridge first conceptually was initiated in 1993.
Yes.
And thanks to Jill and the staff and everyone's hard work, we're finally here, so congratulations.
That's right. And then on an internal coordination note, the LA River Project Office has been working with the Wastewater Conveyance Engineering Division. They're designing the NEAS 2, which is Northeast Interceptor Sewer 2A project, and its alignment follows the LA River for most of the way. So we've been working with that team to analyze the impacts to make sure that we're working together to benefit the river as much as possible.
Is it a cut and cover project?
No, it's a tunneling project.
A tunneling?
Mm-hmm.
And where does it begin?
It begins right around the Bowtie G2 area, so a lot of activity in that area.
Interesting.
And then it travels, it crosses the river, and then it goes north, crosses the river again, and then ends up in the North Atwater Park area.
So this is under the waterbed?
Yeah, the tunneling, is deep enough that no effect should be felt at the surface, and there should be really minor, if any, conflicts, but we're making sure that there are no conflicts and that we can actually find ways to benefit the river if possible.
So they know the aquifer that's there, right?
Yeah, their geotech investigations are, they've done some, they're more ongoing, so they're fully investigating those situations.
Okay, great.
On another note related to internal coordination, I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying thank you.
And also external coordination is the 6th Street Viaduct project. I think everybody's aware that there have been public meetings on the 3 potential designs for the 6th Street Viaduct project.
So the downtown users version in the cartoon is pretty accurate? Have you seen it?
I don't know. I have not seen it.
Okay, good.
It's
No
today,
comment
right?
then. No
Okay,
comment.
Anyway, it's a sweeping project, super exciting, and there will be some greening associated with it, and there will be some changes to the river. So there's a great opportunity to get actual access to the river and some of those elements that we've been pushing for in this committee.
Fantastic.
Done in concert with that project. I also wanted to mention that the Marsh Park expansion project is a project of the master plan, and the MRCA board approved that project going forward. And so we're excited about that, and we're there to express our support. We have also submitted letters of support for the Ellie River Natural Park project in Council District 2 and the Cornfield Arroyo Seco specific plan in Council District 1. In addition to that, let's see, we took some visitors from Germany on a tour of the river, and that's super exciting. And USC will be hosting an upcoming delegation from China who is interested in looking at the river. So thanks to you and Councilman Labange for keeping us not only at the national level, but on the international sort of profile level. Thanks very much, and I want to congratulate the committee on your upcoming 10-year anniversary. It's super exciting. Lastly, I did want to say that I participated in the hearing on the NBC Universal project on August 14th and submitted comments in support of the bike path along Universal Studio.
Great, fantastic. On the China delegation, I'd love to know when they are here. If I can participate, I'd love to.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Wow, fantastic. A lot of good stuff. Councilman Labange?
Yeah, just 2 things. On the Taylor Yard pedestrian bridge, what's the estimated cost of the bridge?
I'm not sure of the estimated construction costs, but I can get back to you. The design, I think, is about $1 million. Maybe.
The design money we have is $1.5 million, and that design will complete full CEQA and NEPA, and then we'll have a cost for construction estimate once the design's finished.
What's the Lacrette's bridge?
That's about $4 million for construction.
$4 million. And the Lacrette's bridge is the foundation.
Yeah, it's
from Mr. Lacrette,
the River Revitalization Corporation.
Which is really an individual who gave the money.
Yes, indeed.
It's very nice. I don't know how many people give money for bridges, but you happy with the design?
Me personally, I think it's wonderful.
Right. And then Dr. Armstrong, is it? You see that in the movies, that's how they do it in the movies. The other thing I wanted to mention, that North Atwater has been very successful, where Secretary Ken Salazar came, and I put a motion in there and talked to Mr. Garcetti prior to switching districts, and we'd like to see the tree trucks relocated somewhere in CSY and flower out the other side. If, let's say, this is the North Atwater side right now that's complete, possibly it's not as large, but it could flower it out where you could expand what was the Chevy Chase Park there in that nature zone and relocate the trucks deeper into the Central Service Yard. I'm sure you'd have to convince Record Parks of that, but there's a value to that. We don't want to take the yard away. The yard's very important, but I think it's created something very nice there. And our Bureau of Sanitation has come up with a conceptual design to open up more of the Los Angeles Glendale reclamation plant there in the day hours, nighttime closed, so people could walk in and enjoy that open water area that's there.
It'll be presented.
Yeah, right. And on the 6th Street Bridge, I want to put water in the bridge. And if we put water in the bridge and hold it somewhere, we could take the trash out before it gets to Long Beach. I think that the toughest thing Los Angeles does is dump all its trash in Long Beach. And if we could pull it out before with check dams in low flow times, because there's a lot of trash that gets in the storm drains now. We'd better serve the environment. So I know you want to try to do some more water features. If we did, DWP, and I see DWP's here, their engineers developed the first check dam up in Headworks, 20, 30 years ago when they pulled water out of the river and spread it in the basin there. So that would be something to look at. And I also have a motion in Mr. Reyes I'd like to put on to support duck tours of the river. In other cities, they have these amphibious vehicles that drive on city streets and then into the river. And let's get people down to the river so they could see it and appreciate and see its changes. It's going to be, I'm looking for the youngest person here. I think maybe in the
Careful, Tom.
Right, I won't hurt anybody. Maybe in the back row right here. They're going to see all the changes that Mr. Reyes is and I are working on, and Louis McAdams and I will be sitting there on the side banks there in Atwater saying, "Wow, look what has happened." When it changes, Louis, when it changes. And great work on if you did a report on the Sunny Nook Bridge Park. You do a report?
It's under construction.
I know, but do you tell the people that?
I did not. People, it's under construction.
You see how nice it looks? You see how nice it looks?
It looks
I mean,
great.
really is a wonderful job. I mean,
Yeah.
Now, I just want to clarify for the record, when you say water under the bridge, right, on 6th Street?
No, I think
you're talking about containing
the
water.
Well, right now, about 100 million gallons go south every day, correct?
Yes.
So if we had a check dam at, let's say, 7th Street, when you're crossing over the bridge, you look in and you see blue. If you see blue, you feel good. If you see water, you feel strong.
I've been trying to raise that, and I make my staff cringe every time I bring it up, but to hold water around the confluence through the downtown area,
Right.
that would be an amazing artificial water body that would do all the things you're describing.
It would create it. So that'd
be awesome. Okay.
Yeah, ponding by the confluence is under consideration as part of the Army Corps study.
That's right.
As a,
Yeah.
Great.
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson.
Wonderful.
Thank you for being with the 25 people from Germany who how they heard about the LA River is on national public radio. And then they told the mayor of Munich, who took a river called the Isar River, which wasn't effective. I mean, it wasn't effective as far as how community, and they took ideas. They came here 3 years ago. They took ideas. They took it back. They implemented, and now it's 80,000 people on a spring day, a summer day, goes along the river. Now they changed the whole way the city looks at the river, and that was done by a mayor who got the tip from someone here, a German cultural officer who told them about it, and that's why they came back.
It sounds like a diplomatic visit there, Tom.
Right, it was.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Dr.
All right, so that finishes the report on item 3. That's noted and filed. Now we're on item 4. That was 4.
No, this is,
No, that
this
was
is 4.
three.
That was 3.
That's what I'm saying. So now we're on item 4, correct? Okay, go ahead.
Motion Reyes Garcetti relative to the 4th cooperative agreement between DWP and Bureau of Engineering.
All right, come on up. And as they come up, I want to thank the LA River Corporation because they did a lot of work on that bridge. Oh, that gentleman, that
Mr. Lecretz.
Lecretz. So good stuff, guys. Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Kelly Bernard with Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. We are just here with our colleagues, our Riverly colleagues of BOE, talking about the 4th agreement between the two departments to continue the work of the implementation of the master plan. And we're excited about doing this. This 4th agreement is a 3-year agreement for a total of $1.2 million to continue those efforts.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much for your diligence and your hard work, even from your other life to this current role. You know, good work in the council as well. So I appreciate everything you do in water and power and facilitating this. Anything else you would like to add? We're okay?
Well, I just wanted to express our gratitude for the ongoing support of the Department of Water and Power that has been there ever since the beginning of the master plan's development, having paid for the master plan and now being an active participant on the River Cooperation Committee and sending staff every time into those meetings, and also now taking leadership on the WISER Committee, the Watershed Infiltration for Supply and Environmental Restoration Committee, and for ongoing projects every day, including the Aliso Creek Confluence Project in Sunny Nook, and various other Greenway projects that we're doing right now. So thank you.
And the support in Washington, D.C. as well.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Any
Mr.
questions?
Reyes, in 2013 will be the centennial of Los Angeles Aqueduct, which has a lot to do with why the city's the city. So I think we should understand and appreciate that, and also learn from that. So that's coming up next year.
What could be one of our final actions? At least mine.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be good. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so we can move to approve?
Move to approve.
All right. That'll be action of this committee?
I think number 5, too.
Number
Okay,
5,
number 5, please.
Department of Water and Power Quarterly Status Report.
Again, Kelly Bernard, Department of Water and Power, and I'm going to be joined by my colleague Dave Christensen, who's going to actually do the report. At the last ad hoc meeting, Councilman LaBonge had some questions regarding the Silver Lake project, and so Dave's here to talk about that. For the record, we did submit the quarterly maintenance report, so that's there, but
Thank you.
we want to use our time.
Good afternoon, Councilman.
Good afternoon.
Dave Christensen. I work with the Project Management Office in the Water System of the Department of Water and Power. We're here this afternoon to give you a brief update on the Silver Lake Bypass project. This is the project that will take Silver Lake out of service, yet keep the lake filled for the recreational use of the residents in the city of Los Angeles. The original project, as it was originally drawn up and started to plan, was a tunnel, and the tunnel was going to start down here at that location right there and just follow all the way around Silver Lake Boulevard and then connect up right down there where Tom's got his finger. And we were going to build a reg station down there in the area known as the Grassy Knoll. This was done initially because of requirements, taking the reservoir out of service as part of the long-term surface water treatment rule. And so the reservoirs have to come out of service or they have to be covered. Covering this reservoir at 77 acres is not a viable option, so we're looking at taking it out of service, yet working with the community to keep the water in the reservoir, it'll become a lake after that, emergency supply for use of the residents and all the citizens of the city of Los Angeles. We discovered, looking at this, that there were changes in requirements mandated by CDPH that would allow us to raise the level of the pipe. And by doing that, we were able to not have to tunnel anymore. We could do open trench along this area here from West Silver Lake and Armstrong, running up West Silver Lake Boulevard, and then we'll cut into the reservoir property just past where Ivanhoe and Silver Lake are here at the south end of Silver Lake. We'll build our reg station right in there on our property, on DWP property, and then we'll take the pipe out into the reservoir itself and put the pipe along the bottom of the reservoir and then hook back up with the existing bypass line, so that way we don't have to do any disturbance down here or the major disturbance that we were talking about. We still have to install a valve down there in order to isolate the lake itself and to meet the CDPH requirements, but that's a very small term project, a very small project itself. In order to install the pipe in the reservoir, we're going to have to drain the reservoir. We'll drain it for 18 months. The general manager, Mr. Nichols, has already made a commitment to refill the reservoir. That is in writing. We've been working with the community. We've met with the Silver Lake Neighborhood Council, presented this option to them. We've also met with the Silver Lake Conservancy Group to run by our options with them and to work with them and to see if there's anything small scale we can do as far as mitigation. Another reason we chose to change our plans from the tunnel to this open trench and then in the reservoir alignment was because the tunnel was going to take over 2 years, about 26 to 28 months to construct. During that time frame, there would have been an open pit basically right there where I have the laser pointer that would have impacted traffic in the community. Basically, it would have been a stationary pit 40 feet in diameter. We would have had to move the road surface a little out in order to get two-way traffic, and it just would have been a big impact for a long, long time. Also, we were going to tunnel in either direction. That was going to be what we call our launching pit, and then down here we would have to build another pit in order to retrieve the machine. That pit would have been there for several months also, causing a great disruption. This way, by doing the open trench from here to here, we can get that work done in about 8 months, minimizing the impact. Of course, we're not saying there's not going to be any impact. We know there will be impact, but we'll work to minimize that. We'll work with DOT, we'll work with the residents in order to make sure that we maintain lanes of traffic, access to residents and businesses, throughways for commuters. But then moving it out into the reservoir itself, we'll be able to decrease the length of the project. We'll be able to work in areas concurrently, both on the street and in the reservoir itself, shortening the overall length of the project, also reducing the cost of the overall project.
It does reduce the cost.
Yes, sir.
And even the maintenance of the water once it's put back in?
We're still, the water itself, that's something that has not been addressed, and it has not been addressed on any front yet.
Okay.
The reservoir was coming out of service one way or the other. Now, how it was going to be maintained, water level, at this point, I'm not aware of any agreements that were made between the local area residents, the associations, the neighborhood council, and the department as far as putting more water back in there as the levels come down. I'm not aware of that agreement, but I'm sure something like that will come up in the future. Long-term uses for Silver Lake are also something that the community, the Conservancy, many city agencies, city council will have to get involved in. We're not looking at that right now. We're just looking at putting in a pipeline in order to meet the water quality requirements that we need to meet.
And this is like 3 to 4 years out.
Right now, we're at 60% design. We anticipate completing design in the spring of next year. We'd like to start construction of this in early 2014. And then the project itself will take a little over 18 to 20 months, so we feel that we'll be finished somewhere late 2014, early 2015 at this point in time.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that feedback.
Originally, when they came in here, there was a grove of trees, so there was a lot of community opposition to removal of the trees.
Yes.
The other reason they found out of it is because someone from Water and Power cut out and put spray paint on the base of the trees to show us what would be removed. At these hostile community meetings, someone yelled out, "Why don't you go to the reservoir?" And DWP heard that, and they looked at it again. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. They looked at it again, and they said they could save $22 million and time. So let's go out here. But for you to be successful in a community meeting, you got to have another map that shows the completion job and the water refilled. So that's very important that you do that. And also, I think it would be helpful to show the number of times that the reservoir has been drained and that it has come back. And now, thanks to the walking path that's around there, thousands of people walk around. Does anybody walk around Silver Lake Reservoir in this room? Yeah, so you know how special it is. So thank you, but I think it's important. Mr. Garcetti has been a champion for this, and myself. Do we get it done right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because you need to get your first obligation is quality water to the people of Los Angeles.
Correct. Now, let me coach this. We still have agreements to work out with CDPH in order to do this.
Who's CDPH?
That's a community council for good things in the neighborhood.
The California Department of Public Health. They oversee the water quality rules. Yes, sir. And so in order to put this pipeline underneath water, a non-potable water, we have to reach an agreement with them, and we're still in the process of doing that.
You got to entomb it like it's solid, like Hoover Dam.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Kelly.
That is serene.
Okay, so what next item? Did we notify all this as well?
Okay, so number 6, CAO quarterly status report on the status of the river.
See you later.
Madam CEO.
David, say hi to Sabrina and everybody. Thanks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Lori Hancock with the CAO. I'm here to give the quarterly status report on the river projects that are undertaken by the city. The information that I provide comes from the Bureau of Engineering, Sanitation, Department of Transportation, and DWP. Currently, there are 33 ongoing projects. They have a total budget of $1.9 billion. 14 of these projects are bridges. The rest of them include recreational bike paths, parks and facilities, water quality projects, and riparian restoration projects. In the current year, we anticipate spending $68.5 million. 23 projects have been completed. They have a total budget of $1.2 billion. 4 bridge projects have been moved to the completed projects listing now, and they have a total of $21.7 million. So we've seen some changes in the totals for the project budgets, and a major reason for that is the Bridge Improvement Program, which is housed in the Bureau of Engineering. They recently took a look at their projects and recalculated what it was going to cost them to complete those projects, the active projects, and the different scopes and what they can still provide and the different funding sources that are included in those projects. And that was approved by council in July. So as a result of that, we have an overall increase of, I believe, $24.9 million in the ongoing projects and $23 million in the completed projects. And that is mostly the result of those bridge changes.
Fantastic. Well, there's a lot of activity on Riverside Drive Bridge, so that's,
yes.
Appreciate that work.
They're actually working 24 hours a day right now, 6 days a week to get completed.
Before the rains.
Before they have to be out on October 15th.
Right, okay. Well, I can see the progress, so good stuff. Any other questions? Okay.
Do you have a written report?
Yes.
Yeah, I just get a copy, that's all.
All right, well.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Sahar. And this will be also note and file. Okay, and our last item?
Motion Reyes Garcetti relative to the acceptance and transfer of $970,000 donation from the Friends of Los Angeles River. The Army Corps.
Do we have staff on this item, or is there any staff on this item? Okay, so Louis, come on up.
You wish you were. You wish you were with the pension.
No, but I'm asking, is there any staff report? Is there a BOE here?
Yeah, BOE.
I saw the head shake no, so I went with that. Dr. Armstrong, you've been recruited to the speaker again. Microphone.
What do you want to know? I'm sorry.
I just want to, can you set the context here?
Yes. Carol Armstrong, Bureau of Engineering, LA River Project Office. The City of Los Angeles initiated the LA River Ecosystem Restoration Feasibility Study with the Army Corps of Engineers back in 2006. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the federal agency, is the lead on that study, but it is a 50-50 cost share. And we have been very lucky to obtain federal appropriations for the study consistently from our delegation in Washington. However, it has always fallen short of what we need, which is understandable. This happens a lot of times, particularly in this economic context, but we are competing for taxpayer dollars nationwide. So we have been a little bit frustrated by the progress on the study. However, your leadership and the leadership of the committee has been tremendous, and the leadership of others in the community, but I would really like to highlight the longstanding leadership of Louis McAdams, our river brother, the founder of Friends of the Los Angeles River, who has been a close partner in everything river, and finally he was like, enough, I've got a solution for you, and so we're super excited to have him and to hear him tell us about it.
All right, Louis.
Well, basically, Friends of the Los Angeles River, a patron of ours, has offered the Corps of Engineers money to finish the study, almost $1 million. And it's going to be passed from, it's already been passed from the donor to us, and it goes next to the city, and then it goes to the Corps. And we're going to hold a press conference on October the 5th to announce this. So everybody in this room, keep it to yourself. What this press conference is going to be like on the morning of May the 5th, of October the 5th. And the money is completely unencumbered. The Corps will do what they will to finish it, but they must finish the study with it or else.
Right. Well, we did have Colonel Toy in our office, and he was very excited that we can get to this point to close this loop and keep this process moving. So thank you for your advocacy.
Well, we believe that this is the first project where private citizens or private company has given money to the Army Corps of Engineers in the entire history of the Army Corps of Engineers.
Maybe that's why they're having a difficulty knowing how to accept it. So,
yeah.
So they're figuring that one out too.
Yeah, they needed a new bureaucracy.
No, but they were great. Colonel Toy has been amazing. Army Corps has been amazing. So we're very fortunate to have their energy working with us. And I thank you and your patron to make sure we can reach this threshold at this time.
And we'll see everybody on October the 5th down at North Atwater Park.
Great.
But keep
great.
it to yourself.
All right, don't tell anybody. Don't speak into the microphone. All right, Louis, good job.
I'm about to say, Louis, in 1988, the first meeting was held in Tom Bradley's office. Mike Gage, then deputy mayor, just got back from being on a river up in Kings Canyon. Which river was he on? No, he's on the river. Which is the river up there in Kings River? Is it Kings River? Was it the Kings River, Mayor? Yeah, the Kings River. And then he convinced the Mayor Bradley that we should take these steps.
Good. Well, I'm glad we're here today. So we can vote to approve, and then we'll forward this to the council.
And you have a speaker card?
That was the gentleman.
Louis.
Yes.
You're just being efficient.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's approved. We can move that to the council. I think that's the end of all the items. Anybody here for general public comment? Announcements? Thank you, Lupe. October 4th, we have Rock the Boat, America's Wildest River film about the LA River. That'll be at 7 p.m. And where is this going to be held? Electric Lodge in Venice. Okay. No?
Oh, it is? Oh, good.
Where?
Downtown?
Downtown.
Yeah, downtown.
We will find out. They can look at contact at rocktheboat.com and they'll find out. October 7th, Let's Talk River. Join the Revitalization Corporation for the annual Urban Garden Party. And Omar's up there raising his eyebrows with a big smile. So you know it's going to be a fun event. Honoring the mayor. We have tickets can be purchased online at www.thelariver.com/Let's Talk River. You can email jbrown@larivercorps.com or you can call 323-221-7800. It is a 501c3, so you're more than welcome to call and support that great event, and we'll be honoring our mayor, Villagosa. October 9th, we have 40 years of the Clean Water Act. That'll be here at 8:30 to 1, and you're invited to the City Hall to look back at the story of the Clean Water Act and envision the future of clean water in Southern California. And we'll have a stellar panel of speakers will grace the occasion. So you're more than welcome to come to that. That's at the www.cleanwatercelebration.org. And last is the October 11th Humboldt River Greenway groundbreaking. We will have a groundbreaking at 9:30 a.m. Avenue 19 in Humboldt, Lincoln Heights, and another opportunity to green our Lincoln Heights area along the river corridor. Shoot, there's more stuff. October 12th, recognition the 10th anniversary, as you were saying, Ms. Armstrong. 9 to 10 a.m. reception and city council presentation. October 20th, Spark Great Wall of LA and the LA River Celebration Party and Fundraiser. That's with Spark. That is the private tour with Judy Baca at the Tahunga Wash, LA River Great Wall. And finally, October 20th, an evening by the river presented by Picnics in the Park. An elegant outdoor dinner and music along the banks of the LA River in the heart of Sherman Oaks and Studio City. Location, Richard Lillard Outdoor Classroom, 5 to 7:30. A lot of good stuff along the river, folks. It's doing what it's supposed to do, get people together. So,
thank you.
Fantastic. This meeting is adjourned. No one here for public comment, right? That's it?